Now, the third type of person that I don't want to see doing a ketogenic diet is someone with a really low breath rate. And this is something that you can just test on your own. You just get a stopwatch or just use the timer on your phone, set it for a minute, and count the number of times that you inhale in that minute. Don't count inhale as 1 and exhale as 2, just count the inhale. And if that breath rate is lower than 12, that's a really strong indication that your blood may be leaning too far on that alkaline side. And when that's the case, what's called the Bohr effect kicks in. And what this says is that when the blood is leaning too alkaline, oxygen can't get down to the tissues so that it can be utilized correctly. And when oxygen can't get down to the tissues, the body can't utilize that oxygen, and now we got some real energy production problems. So when the blood is leaning too alkaline, the body will slow down the breath rate in order to try to hold on to more CO2. CO2 is what we exhale, and CO2 is acidic. So if the body can try to hold on to more of that, it'll help acidify the blood, balance out that pH, and allow oxygen to get down to where it needs. Here's the problem when it comes to a ketogenic diet. When we eat carbohydrates, when we process those carbohydrates, CO2 is a byproduct of processing carbohydrates and sugars. When we eat those carbs, we produce this CO2 that can help acidify the bloodstream and help balance that out. But if somebody stops eating carbohydrates and their breath rate is already too low, well, they're going to magnify this problem by removing carbohydrates and removing that CO2 byproduct that comes from producing those carbohydrates. So I'm not saying that everybody needs to eat carbohydrates for this reason. Some people's blood is actually leaning too far on the acidic side, and removing carbohydrates could really benefit them greatly. So don't view this as one rule is right for everyone. That's not the case. But this is one of the reasons that a lot of people have trouble when starting a ketogenic diet, and it's also one of the reasons that why some people can run into trouble after doing keto for too long. And this is what happened to me. My breath rate went down to like 6. I had no energy. I couldn't do anything. I had to take a rest halfway up 3 steps. So I was doing really great on a ketogenic diet until my blood started leaning too alkaline, and then I learned that I needed to cycle in keto from time to time and not just stick with it nonstop, because eating one way for too long can create imbalances for some folks. So as long as you understand how to look at your chemistry and watch your bioindividuality, then you know how to steer things and when you might need to cycle off of keto a little bit or when you might need to take a break for a month or two. And understand if somebody is insulin resistant or type 2 diabetic, they're not benefiting from eating those carbohydrates because their body can't process them correctly. And it's processing the carbohydrates that creates that CO2. It's not just eating carbohydrates. So I don't want you to say, oh, my breath rate is low, but I'm a type 2 diabetic, so I need to keep eating carbohydrates. You really need to fix the insulin resistance, and a ketogenic diet is a great way to move in that direction.